there it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is showtime here on the Paranormal Portal. Welcome, everybody. It's Friday. Happy weekend to y'all. Hope you're having a much better weather than we are, where it's nearly snowing. I mean, not really, but it's cold and rainy and horrible here. But there was even a festival in the town we live in. It's called Lost on the 50s, and they were having a parade, old car parade and stuff. And I'm like, nope. No, thank you. I wasn't going to go stand in the cold blowing rain to go check out old cars. I've seen them through the years, and I was actually alive when some of them were normal. So
I've actually owned a few old cars.
Yeah, I know. So as it were, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And that other voice you hear, of course, is my good friend and co-host, the big toe of the Paranormal Portal, Mr. Don Longbeard.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
We have reached the end of my, well, except for El Baño and dos cervezas.
2 beers and a bathroom?
And a toilet, yep, there you go.
That's all a man needs, Don, is 2 beers and a toilet.
2 beers and a toilet, I'm good.
Around here, we don't call it the baño. We call it the study or the den.
Around here, we call it the exorcism room.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
Is that a demon growling?
Are you flushing demons in there?
Why'd you flush it 4 times?
I can smell its sulfuric breath.
I can smell the pits of hell from
I
here.
heard that growling. Speaking in tongues in there or something. Oh, God. Dear God. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It doesn't get much better than this if you're new to it.
No,
so
it doesn't.
Don't have really high expectations because you'll always leave pleasantly entertained if you don't.
Just sorely disappointed otherwise.
We had an epic show last Wednesday,
We
folks.
did.
If you missed it,
You missed it.
you missed a great one. And that was, of course, we had Mr. Vic Cundiff on the show of Dogman Encounters and
right.
Bigfoot Encounters and about 15 other shows that he's doing now.
My paranormal experience.
Yeah,
or
my
something
paranormal
like that.
experience. Yep, and
Jeez,
yep.
that guy's busy.
Yeah, he really is. But it was a lot of fun to have him on the show, and we had a great discussion. And
You know what's going to happen? He's going to end up, in about 6 months, he's going to be going, my God, now I know how Brent and Don feel doing 7 and 10 shows a week.
Yeah,
That was crazy.
Yeah, we used to do 10. Yep.
Wow.
Did 7 nightly shows on YouTube live, and then 3 podcasts per week. We kind of hit the ground running on that
Crazy.
deal for years, actually. And it wasn't until recently that I just cut down to 3 live shows.
That's it. Done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gets to the point where you can only come up with material at such a pace. And we burned through a lot of material in those several 5 years or 4 years or 3. I guess it was 3 years that we were doing the 10.
So, yeah. Well, no. It was 1 year we were doing 10.
Yeah, that's right.
The second year we dropped 2 of the podcasts.
Yes, that's right.
So,
and then systematically I've dropped some of the live shows just because I had a hard time coming up and part of the shows. I know you guys are here for a paranormal show, but those of you that are regulars, you've come to know us and know that this is part of the banter.
Speaking of androids are speaking of people who have known us. Android says, how much do you need to be paid to do 7 days a week? Well, let's start in 6 figures at the least. And that's just me.
Don's not a cheap date, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
James,
You can get me drunk quick, though.
James Burke in the chat says, me and my younger sister, we both came face to face with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I was 6 and she was 4, and we remember it very vividly to this day. I'm now 52 years old and have stories of dealing with Bigfoot. Well, email me, James. I'd love to have a discussion with you to possibly have you as a guest on the podcast.
There you go. He goes on to say some of the stories that I could tell would absolutely blow you away, from looking through our window to killing our chickens and animals to being on top of the roof. Now, I'm familiar with the chicken thing. We had that incident out in the valley.
Oh, right. Yeah, they went from, 39 chickens?
30 to like 10.
9?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, they were losing chickens, and there was no chicken litter.
Obvious reason. Yeah.
Well, we'll get into all of that.
Yeah,
let's talk about that in a little
show,
bit.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank the Paranormal Portal sponsor, and that, of course, is Cryptid Coin. And you can invest in this if you're looking for a cryptocurrency to invest in. Cryptid Coin may be right for you because they've got the cryptid research and investigation as the heart of the whole venture, and if you are interested in checking it out and learning more about what opportunities are there, go over to cryptidcoin.io. And they are also available on PancakeSwap. They are a sponsor of the show. I'm really excited about this and have been for a while now because to me, this is like a perfect fit, for this show to have a sponsor that is exactly geared towards our community. So check it out if it's right for you or not. I can't say. I'm not an investment person. I can't give you any advice, but I can tell you that it's neat to see this emerge as something that's right up our alley. So, but again, check it out at cryptidcoin.io, and special thanks to CryptidCoin for sponsoring the Paranormal Portal. So, let's see. I've almost forgotten what to do here. What do I do now, Don?
I don't know, but I remember you said something that you wanted to show me something really funny.
Oh yeah, but that's not for show consumption.
Dang it!
You didn't remind me early enough.
Dang it!
I actually had to troubleshoot something right now because we were just about launching the show, and I pulled up the broadcast software, and my camera wasn't working. It was just black, and I'm like, oh no. So we had to do a quick troubleshoot, and we got it all set up, and it's working. You can see me now, those of you on YouTube, and a special hello to you, those of you on TFR as well, or iHeart, TuneIn, or TalkStream Live. We are broadcasting on all of these networks simultaneously. Simulcastingly. I don't know what the hell my tongue was going to do
that
there.
would work too, though. Simulcastingly. No.
Yeah, we are simulcasting on all of those networks.
They have stupid words in the dictionary now anymore. So simulcastingly. There you go.
There you go. Put it in. Word. Put it in there. Somebody start the Wikipedia.
Yep, there you go.
All right. So
we need a portal wiki.
We do. We should have a portal
wiki.
But ladies and gentlemen, I think this is a great time for us. We'll talk about Bigfoot in a little bit because I really want to dig into that a little more. But if you want to email me, you can do so by emailing paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. If you could put that in the chat, I'd appreciate it.
It is, yeah. You want to put it at top?
Sure.
That's right.
I'll pin a message after the first break.
Okay.
We'll put a message up there that'll have the call-in number for those of you that want to call in and take part of the conversation during the live show, or for those of you that would rather email, you can email me as well. But we have a bunch of fun lined up for you tonight here. So without further ado, let's get to it. Don, you feeling some news?
Yeah, if I could just spell that'd be even better. But let's do the news.
The news, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. As always, we are here to bring you up to speed on all of this incredible news that we uncover. Some of it is actually paranormal, but all of it's you really unusual or really cutting edge and really exciting. So buckle up. We got a few things to go through here. I've got a few articles pulled up, and the first one of which tonight is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. And they've got some interesting things going on over there. Check out that site if you get a chance. If you're looking for some quick, digestible bites of paranormal news and articles, this is your place, unexplained-mysteries.com. So the first one up tonight is, I don't know, is I think an outright lie, but let's see what's it says. Unexplainedmysteries.com reports Pentagon erroneously claims it has no data on UFOs disabling nukes. Well, we've heard from several sources through the years. Over years. And especially going way back even to like the 60s, if I'm not mistaken, of what appeared to be UFOs that were disabling nuclear launch sites.
During the Cold War.
Yeah, during the Cold War, at the height of the Cold War. And so there's military people that have come out and talked about it, those people that were present. So what is this going to say? Well, let's find out. It says, former Minuteman commander Robert Salas maintains that he reported the incident to the UFO task force last year. Salas, who's long been attempting to raise awareness about his experiences, was the on-duty commander at the underground launch facility at the Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana back in March 1967, when a mysterious object appeared and disabled several of the ICBMs. An airman who had been standing watch at the time had observed an object in the sky which had started to zigzag around before hovering outside the front gate of the facility. Security guards described it as red, glowing, and saucer-shaped. Within seconds, the ICBMs stationed at the base had begun to report inexplicable failures. Within the next few seconds, we lost 6 to 8 missiles with a no-go condition, said Salas. According to a Freedom of Information Act request, all 10 missiles in Echo flight at Maelstrom lost strat alert within 10 seconds of each other.
Wow.
A very similar incident had occurred just 1 week prior at another base north of Lewiston in Montana, which, when Salas reported the incident to the Pentagon UFO Task Force last year, he was told that officials were already aware of it and he did not need to submit any additional information. He was particularly surprised, therefore, when officials at the UFO congressional hearing on Tuesday claimed that they did not have any data on the incident and were unable to comment.
Of course.
What? Is that deniable? Is that deniability in government?
No, it's
Come on.
It's just, don't worry about the paperwork. We don't want to have to produce it later for proof.
You don't need to file that. We have 5 in the back.
We've got it on mimeograph.
He was particularly surprised, therefore, when the officials at the UFO congressional hearing on Tuesday claimed they did not have any idea, not any data on the incident and were unable to comment. The shutting down of nuclear missiles obviously is a national security concern that they should have considered, said Salas.
Really?
Because Congressman Mike Gallagher pushed it, finally, Moultrie agreed to take a look at these incidents, so I'm looking forward to briefing him once I get the call. Mm-hmm. I've been just waiting to hear from them. I offered to even go there on my own expense. I'd be happy to fully brief any congressman or anybody from DOD. Wow, so they're trying to say, well, what happened? We don't know anything about it.
DOD, dumb on dumber.
Dumb and dumber. Dumber, dumber.
Dumb on.
Dumb on? Yeah, there you go.
Dumb on dumber. They can't get any dumber, can they?
Well, the thing is I don't believe for a minute that these people are stupid.
Not
They're
for
just
a minute, man.
I see what you did there. But I think that, for some reason, they just don't want to acknowledge this on that level.
Well, yeah.
The interesting thing about those missiles getting shut down, folks, is that these aren't just things that were like connected to the internet and wirelessly activated by, somebody with a thumb drive.
Right.
This is enclosed systems.
Yep.
These were closed systems. They were standalone.
The only way they could talk to each other was on a phone.
Yeah, I mean, even then, they would never have let that happen because of the vulnerabilities that having a connection would present. So the fact that this UFO came into the area and shut down all 10 of these missiles at that site is nothing short of, magic. I mean, it's literally like magical. It's obviously such an advanced technology that they didn't need to have an access given to them. They were able to get access just by being near it, or maybe they didn't even need that. Who knows? But maybe it was a test for them. Like, hey, can we shut these things down? hey, Phil, go down there in the saucer, and we're going to see what we can do from here.
Exactly.
It's going to be something like that, where that was their test, and apparently they passed very easily. So that's disturbing. But again, I kind of like that they can shut that stuff off before it launches. That's scary. I mean, there's nothing. I really can't see any productive use of nuclear weapons any longer, and maybe ever. I mean, I think it's been a tragedy since its inception. Some would argue, hey, it brought to the end of World War II. It really, really hurried that along. But I don't know. I just think that kind of power is scary, and obviously we're not capable of wielding it. But at any rate, that's the first article. Believe what you want, think what you want. It's up to you. But it is interesting. And they claim they didn't know anything about it. Wow. All right.
Typical, if you ask me.
Yeah, that sounds like a government operation right there.
Definitely.
All right, let's go to the next one. And this is on explain-mysteries.com as well. And this is also about UFOs. We got a lot of UFO in the news tonight.
Sweet.
UFO hearing. 400 cases remain unidentified. And it says the first congressional UFO hearing in 50 years offered greater transparency, but no concrete evidence of aliens.
Gee.
Chaired by California Rep. Adam Schiff.
Oh, boy.
Where was I? Oh, yeah.
You start telling a joke.
Chaired by California Rep. Adam Schiff, the hearing took place yesterday in front of the U.S. House Intelligence Committee's subcommittee on counterterrorism, counterintelligence, and counterproliferation, all of which I don't think Adam Schiff is qualified. He's not even qualified to run the soap dispenser in the bathroom, probably. For too long, the stigma associated with UAPs has gotten in the way of good intelligence analysis. Pilots avoided reporting or were laughed at when they did, said Rep. Andre Carlson. DOD officials regulated the issue to the back room or swept it under the rug entirely, fearful of a skeptical national security community. Well, that's what they're saying on paper, but they didn't ever sweep this stuff under the rug. They knew all about it and were actively studying it, but they just didn't want us to know. Today, we know better. UAPs are unexplained. It's true, but they are real. They need to be investigated and any threats they pose to be mitigated. How are you going to do that? During the hearing, the Pentagon officials admitted that the number of genuinely unidentified objects reported by pilots and service members had now increased to 400. It does seem as though efforts to remove the stigma associated with reporting such sightings have been at least partially successful, as have efforts to improve overall transparency. Right. The message is now clear. If you see something, you need to report it, and the message has been received, said Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence Scott Bray. In fact, recently I received a call from a senior naval aviator with over 2,000 flight hours, and he called me personally from the flight line after landing to talk about an encounter he had just experienced. Overall, the hearing was a welcome one. However, it represents only a single step along the road to truly getting to the bottom of the UFO phenomenon and determining once and for all what these objects are, where they're coming from, and whether or not they pose a threat. There you go. I don't know. We got the greatest minds in government working on it.
Wow.
They don't want it to be solved, ladies and gentlemen. No. This is just throwing bread to the at the carnival. This is what that is.
Not even bread. It's just the crumbs.
They let them smell where the bread was.
Came out of this plastic bag that we're putting over your head.
But it's something that they're just trying to compartmentalize this even more. There's no intention to make this public knowledge.
Not at all.
No, but and that's too bad, because I think largely people are ready for it. But we'll see. We'll see what comes up. If you're a listener of our podcast, you should check out the episode coming up this Sunday. That's going to be a good one. I interviewed a gentleman by the name of Jack Carey. Who's been on the show, and he's incredibly interesting, especially if you're into the UFOs and some of the controversy around them.
I have to get on that when I get home tonight.
Well, good. Okay, then we'll be ready. The next one from unexplained-mysteries.com is UFO hearing. Is there evidence that aliens have visited the Earth? Well, I'm here to tell you I've seen them myself, at least one of their crafts. So I have no doubt they're here. And so have thousands and thousands of other people. But apparently they're still tossing this around. But let's see what this says. This is really long. So that's the question. We'll get to the next article because that one, I'll read the first part of this. I don't know what they're saying here. It says the groundbreaking congressional hearing offered some interesting revelations, but was alien contact one of them? Radio astronomer Steve Tingay of Curtin University takes a look at what went down at the hearing. I'm going to put a link to this in both chats, both here and on TFR, and you all are certainly welcome to check it out after the show if you would so choose. Because it's a little bit of a read, but I'm sure it'd be kind of interesting what his takeaway from all of that was. Let me pull up over here on the TFR chat, putting it in here as well. And there you go. Those of you in TFR, you can check that out as well. But I don't know. I didn't review any of these hearings, so I don't know what was really discussed. That hasn't been discussed before. I don't know. But at any rate, there is the question, and if you read that article, you can get maybe some kind of answers. But we got another article, and let me pull it into place. and get it on screen. And this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Mysterious lake inexplicably replenishes its fresh water without a source.
Nestle's.
Without a source. That's a little weird, right? Let's see what it says. A picturesque lake perched high atop mountain in Ontario, Canada, has a mystery that has yet to be solved. Found 200 feet above Lake Ontario's Bay of Quinte, I don't know. This peculiar freshwater lake named Onokanoga by the Mohawks has been puzzling scientists and researchers for years. Despite the fact that there are no known sources of water flowing to or from the lake, it somehow manages to provide constant supply of fresh water, a natural curiosity that seems to defy all geological norms and which, even to this day, has no definitive explanation. The Mohawks revered the lake with some of the earliest settlers, believing that it might even descend into the very bowels of the earth. While this is certainly unlikely, really? Okay. Scientists have long struggled to find a modern explanation for the phenomenon. Despite numerous searches, no source for the freshwater has been found. Over the years, the mystery has helped to propel interest in the area, which is now a popular destination for hikers and for those looking to get away from it all for a few days. Yeah, like a lot of other places. Whether the lake's mystery will eventually truly be solved, however, remains to be seen. Well, it looks like a beautiful lake. Okay, so it's not enormous, but it apparently has some water coming to it somehow.
Right.
But they cannot identify where that water is coming from. That's really curious.
Curiouser and curiouser.
We'll keep an eye on that. If we get any updates, we'll be sure to let you know here on the Paranormal Portal News. But let's see. I think we got time for one more. Let me check the clock here. Yeah, we got 3 minutes. Should be able to. One more. It'll take, oh God, is this a long one? No, this one's okay. All right. This is another fantastic article, and this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. It will take 400,000 years to hear from alien, scientists claim. According to a new study, it may be quite a long time before we're likely to hear from E.T. The question of whether we are alone in the universe remains one of the biggest philosophical conundrums of our time. While it seems almost inconceivable that our civilization is alone in the cosmos, the fact still remains that we have yet to see any evidence to the contrary. I beg to differ, but anyway. The Fermi paradox, which highlights the contradiction between likely existence of extraterrestrial civilizations and the fact that we're still never encountered any, I don't agree, seems to suggest either there are no aliens out there or they are so rare it is unlikely we would ever come across them.
Or
It's
they've
like
just been here forever.
it's like nobody talks because there's plenty of people that are seeing these things, even you military pilots, for God's sakes. Now, according to a new paper by authors Wenji Song and He Gao from the Department of Astronomy in Beijing Normal University, what's the abnormal one?
The abnormal Beijing.
It could take another 400,000 years for humanity to actually make contact with an intelligent extraterrestrial civilization. As the only advanced intelligent civilization on the Earth, one of the most puzzling questions for us humans is whether our existence is unique. He wrote, there have been many studies on extraterrestrial civilization in the past few decades. To reach this number, the researchers started out by revisiting the Drake equation with attempts to calculate alien civilizations in our galaxy. The method is not without its flaws, however, as many of the figures used are best guesses. Most studies on this problem are based on the Drake equation, he wrote. The obvious difficulty of this method is it's uncertain and unpredictable. To quantify the probability of life may appear on a suitable planet and eventually develop into an advanced communicating civilization. While their findings are interesting, sadly, we have no way to know for sure if they are accurate. The subject of extraterrestrial intelligent communication devices will remain entirely in the domain of hypothesis until any positive detection is made, they concluded. Well, where did they come up with that 400,000 number, though? That's curious.
So Dream in the chat says, did they check with the Pentagon? They just told Congress there were aliens. I was like, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Doesn't anybody talk over there? What's going on?
This is not Taco Tuesday, apparently. It's funny, though, because what if the idea that the Anastasia came and they made the Gorilla Kings, us, to mine the gold from the planet so they can reap the benefits of it. How long ago was that?
I don't know.
Do you think that they've been here?
I do.
And, you know, I mean, like 400,000 years ago, they said, hey, we're going to go over there. We're going to mine all that gold there and bring it back here. And here we are 400,000 years later. And they've been here the entire time.
Well, we'll maybe find out after the break, folks. We'll get into it and so much more. Don't go away. The first break is upon us. We'll be right back for more of the Paranormal Portal. Hi, everybody. We're back.
Hi.
I hope you didn't miss us too much.
How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm loud.
You are, but that's good. I'm just glad we're all at it here. We're in the second half hour now already. So
I have large lungs.
Okay. All right. It's okay. We got a lot going on here tonight on the Paranormal Portal, but I'm here to tell you it's time to do some shout outs. Say hello to everybody. So over on TFR, we got Bam over there in TFR land, Gemini's over there, and Jake Fortez, as is Timid Civilian and Helpful Humanoid. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming in.
Nice to see ya.
Oh, very good.
Nice to see you.
I am reading you, Jake Fortez in here says, "Hey, Brent, it's Jake Fortez. Are you reading me?" I'm reading you like a book. Gotcha, brother.
All right. Well, I'm not going to mention him over on YouTube because obviously...
Is he double dipping?
He's double dipping. All right. So we've got Android Purity, Bernays Sauce. Hi, Brooks, Dr. Manhattan, Dreams here, Geeky Garden, Jake. Oops, I said I wasn't going to say him. But there you go. We got JG Hartwell, Jimmy Touchdown, Kirsten. Oh, you want to hear something funny? Kirsten said she has the same shirt I do. It's the Let's Sacrifice Toby shirt. Funny story, I'm not allowed to wear the shirt over to Paisley's house anymore.
Ooh.
Because her daughter looked up and goes, "How do you play Let's Sacrifice Toby?" I'm like, nope, I'm not wearing it no more. Nope, ain't wearing it. I ain't explaining it either.
Scarring the minds of youth everywhere.
I know, huh? Spajub! Lava Time, Maggie M10, Matthews here, Natalie UK, Rachel gets it right, is always here, and we appreciate it very much. Hi, Raspberries, how you doing over there? Ruthie's here. Hey, Farm, nice going. By the way, don't forget to lock your gate. Tracy Gale, Wonder Woman, and let's see if anybody popped in that I missed. Nope. So if you didn't get shouted out, it's because you're not chatting out. So there you go. Hi, everybody.
Got to do some shouting to get a shouting.
How you doing there, buddy?
All right. So,
and I see you penned the phone number at the top, too. Excellent.
Yeah, I'm a man of my word.
There you go.
I am that, if nothing else.
Gemini. Oh, yeah, Gemini is double dipping, too.
She is.
Yeah, she's good at that, apparently.
Moving right along. For Don spits water everywhere. All right, so we got some paranormal goodness that we're going to get back into here, folks. And I'm trying to figure out which one are we going to do. Okay. So, first of all, I want to do a RMSO one from...
What the hell is RMSO?
Rocky Mountain Bigfoot's... what is it? I forget the acronym, but it's Kelly and his wife run it. Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization.
There you go.
Yeah, and they do a great job. I've been seeing Kelly's work for years. He and his wife and others as well get out there and really get out to the places where a lot of things have happened. They go and check out the areas where people's claims are, and some pretty incredibly historic ones. Like they even went up and checked out the area they believe the Bauman incident came from.
Right.
And that was really cool. So, and I really appreciated that. So they work really hard doing this stuff. If you get a chance, go check out rmsobigfoot.blogspot.com and support what they're doing over there, because it's really some pretty great stuff. And they also have a YouTube page. But he's got a page on his blog. It's a 7 to 8 foot tall, dark, hairy thing making the weirdest noise. Terrified woman runs from Alabama Bigfoot. So it looks like it's kind of a double header post here, but it's from May 10th of 2022 that he posted it.
Oh wow! Yeah,
and it does have some links on here to check out some videos as well. But it's two parts. It says Linda, and I think that's Kelly's wife, writes RMSO. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. It's actually the person. Hello, my name is Linda, and I live in Alabama in the country with my mom, my dad, my sisters and brothers. My grandmother lives in the house next to us, and this is back in 1979. I think I was 14 or 15, somewhere around there. Anyhow, I needed to use the phone, and we did not have one, and I asked my mom if she could take me over to my aunt's to use her phone. I need you to call a classmate about my homework, and she said I can't do it right now. I'm cooking supper, and I've already got it on cooking. So I said, well, I'll just walk over there. I love living in the country all my life, so I know all the sounds of animals around me. Well, anyhow, I was probably a quarter of a mile from my mom's house when I began to hear something of a noise that I'd never heard before. But I kept walking, but it's just getting louder and louder. But I couldn't see anything. Well, I got almost to the fourth of the road where I had to turn to go to my aunt's and look back down to my right. There was something standing there. It had to be at least 7 to 8 feet tall. It was a dark, hairy thing, and it had its arms up in the air, not straight up, but to the side. So I wonder if she's talking like a T pose, or if it was like, or this, or like a T, arm straight out, or what. I don't know. And she said, I could see the hair hanging down off of its arms, and it was making the weirdest noise that I've ever heard. Never heard this noise, and never have since. I don't know what a Bigfoot was at the time, but it scared me. I turned around and began running back to my home as hard as I could. All I could think about is this thing is fixing to grab me from behind. I got to the house. I was so out of breath that I couldn't even speak. When I got where I could, I told my dad and mom what I had seen. My dad got the shotgun and went back up to the place where I'd seen it. I pointed down where it was, and he walked down there. By this time, it was getting dusk and dark, and he didn't see anything. He didn't look for footprints. Like I said, I or my folks had never heard of anything like a Bigfoot, so I seen it, and I know there's something out there. This is a true story. Yeah, I don't doubt it. What's funny?
Was he roughing up a suspect?
Oh, I don't know. Did you go all Wes on me there? All right, so I think that's an interesting account. I mean, most accounts are literally like that. They're just some sounds, maybe a visual of some kind, but they're really brief. I guess this person didn't stick around. They just like, hell no, I'm getting out of here, and I can't blame them. You're especially being a young teenage girl. It's like you don't know what the hell it is, and even if you're a grown man, it wouldn't matter. I'd still be like, nope.
Yep.
I'm gone, As much as my legs could carry me, I'd been doing the same thing she did. But what a weird situation. And it was kind of a one-off though, Don.
Yeah, I bet it was.
But you know what I mean? It was like there was not a history of this stuff, even to the point that they didn't have any knowledge of these kind of things.
Right. No.
So it's weird that it kind of just happened and was done. And those kind of accounts make me wonder about the whole migration thing with Bigfoot. It's like maybe there's some areas they pass through, and they just happen to be passing through at that time. And she happened to be out there. Maybe it was a young one that was expanding his territory because he got kicked out of the clan. There's a belief in Bigfoot circles that, the young males, when they reach a certain age, kind of get booted out because the big alpha male's like, nope, I'm not letting you take a shot at the title. You got to go. And it's pretty common in a lot of nature, so maybe there's some truth to that. But when they get booted out, where do they go? Well, they got to go somewhere where there isn't any of them and kind of start their own deal. So maybe that's what this one was doing. It's anybody's guess, but I don't pretend to know for sure how big they can get, but 7 and 8 foot sounds...
Was it a rumspringer?
A rumspringer? What's that?
Rumspringer. That's when the Amish... When they turn like 1821, they go out into the world.
Yeah, they go out and challenge the world or whatever. Oh, yeah, maybe it was. Maybe the Bigfoot have a similar tradition. Maybe that's where the Amish learned it. I don't know. But it is a curious thing. And every one of these stories, ladies and gentlemen, when we cover stories like this, every one of these stories can maybe help to illustrate something new. And for me, it's like, why only one? Why didn't they ever hear anything there before? And why this one time did they? And I don't know.
Because tree peeper.
Tree peekers? Yeah, maybe he's peeking all over the place. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But that's got to be really, really terrifying. And I don't know. How far away did she say it was down this road from her? Fourth the road. She said it was just down to the right. So there's no distance given here, but I don't know. I mean, if it was getting to be lower light, I guess maybe it was a long way. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. we don't really understand a lot of details about this, but I think it's pretty interesting reports. And again, that's the RMSO, Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization. Kelly Shaw is the one that operates all of this and does a hell of a job. So support what they're doing. Stop in there. Check it out. It'll be worth your time. There's lots of reports like this over there. And there's lots of material to check out. So check it out.
Check it out.
All right. I wanted to cover that one because, we had started talking about Bigfoot tonight because of our listener that had experiences as well. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what part of the country this listener was from either, though. Did he say? Did you hear?
Was that James Burke? Is that right?
Yeah, James.
Yeah, I don't know that he mentioned that part.
Okay. Well, it'd be interesting to hear what area you're from. You don't have to get specific, but it'd be interesting to know what part of the country you're in or what part of the world you're in. It could be anywhere because the Bigfoot is actually a global phenomena. And I find that very interesting, no? All right, we're going to try to close out this article, maybe in this segment if we can. This is one we've been working on for a while, but it's from moneyawaits.com, not a site that's generally known for paranormal or cryptid stories, but this is one of their Reddit aggregated articles where they just put out a thread or go and start farming accounts from Reddit and use it for their articles. But this one is called Cops from Around the World Share Cases that Made Them Think That Something Supernatural Was Happening. And we're on number 6. It's counting backwards down to 1, I guess. So we're on number 6, and this is Someone Else is Home. Patrol officer here. This is not my story, but my partner's, and all 3 officers on the scene verified this story too. So my partner responds to a priority breaking and entering call. A house sitter / dog sitter calls and says that he can hear loud banging and footsteps coming from downstairs, the ground floor, and he should be the only one home. The house sitter and the dog are both upstairs. The dog is in a cage. So officers respond priority, including a canine officer. Police release the canine into the house first to clear the house. Canine comes out empty-handed. Really?
No kidding.
Wow.
Wow.
I wouldn't have expected that.
He's not very good at his job now, is he? He even come out with a sandwich.
Get back in there.
Get you my sandwich.
So officers respond. Canine comes out empty-handed. 3 officers then go inside of the house and clear it themselves.
I'll get my own damn sandwich.
Yeah. Again, nothing and nobody inside.
Wow.
Officers then step out front with the house sitter that called 911 as they're telling him the house is empty. They see the curtains of the bedroom window on the 2nd floor open.
Oops.
They're heavy curtains, and they parted from the center, so they claim it couldn't really be possible from the air vents kicking on or anything like that.
Right.
All 3 officers and the house sitter all see it. Then the guy asks the police to come back inside with him because he's going to take the dog to a different home for the night, and he needs to get the dog out of the cage. The police refuse to go back inside with him.
Oh.
It's just not the best example of public service.
Like, oh, hell no. You know what? We already been in there. We don't need
Yeah,
to go
hey, look at the time. We got to get going.
Oh, the guy gotta go feed the dog.
Yeah, exactly. Got to go walk the canine. See you later. That was by Sam2734. Yeah, protect and serve. Hell no. It's get the hell out. Number 5.
Protecting and serving myself. See ya.
That's hilarious. They're like, nope, we're good. See ya. The Suicide Lighthouse is number 5. I spent some time as a homicide investigator, and we would respond to all apparent taking of own life calls and investigate them just to make sure it wasn't a homicide. Usually we determined a motive and found a note or other indicator that the person really did take themselves out. One guy just taped a note to his chest that said, "Happy now?" ? Oh, geez. And made sure his wife found him. Ooh. That's a whole different kind of love right there, folks.
I love you to death.
Literally, yeah. But occasionally you get a case where all forensic evidence indicates that the person died by themselves. There's no notes, no discernible reason why this person would want to do that to themselves. And these are people in good health with decent careers and seemingly happy family life. But who knows what's really going on with someone?
Right.
Here's the part that freaks me out. I've worked maybe 10 scenes like this. The last 3 before I left homicide all had the same thing at the scene. There was a little decorative wicker lighthouse at each location. It was the same lighthouse, same design, and painted white and blue. It stuck out to me the first time because it was by the bed where the body was, but 2 weeks later I saw the same lighthouse on another case and even pointed out the coincidence to a patrol officer. A few months later I go in on another case and I see the same wicker lighthouse. That's when it clicks that it's always been unexplained deaths. I go back and look at the crime scene photos from every case I've worked on. In two of them, I see what could be the wicker lighthouse, but the angle is off, so there's too much junk around to say for sure. I don't know. I thought it was creepy, but I transferred a couple of months later and let it go. Wow, really?
Yeah, wow. I'm out of here.
That's probably not the right answer. I mean, yeah, it may take you down a road that's going to lead you to some really uncomfortable stuff, but it could be like a hitman.
Right.
That's his calling card. That's his
blue and white lighthouse.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's his Joker card. Like the old snipers used to use.
So it'd be like the light bringer.
Yeah, maybe.
He brings his own lighthouse. Yeah. Here, let me shed some light on this.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't take this lightly.
Wow, you're just full of it. Just roll with it, Don. Just take it home. Take it home.
Let me illuminate something for you.
We've only got 2 hours, Don. But that was by Naren_C. That is interesting. It could be like that. It could be something else. Maybe it's the same damn lighthouse.
Yeah, maybe.
I got a yard sale from this other house.
It was an estate sale from this guy who killed himself.
I gave it to my husband.
Stop making light of this situation.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's
Wonder Woman, lights out. Thank you.
That was for all the light puns, not just for yours, Wonder Woman. Any more before we move on?
Oh, no, I'm good for now, I guess.
Okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on and see what else we can find here. Number 4, the horror movie house. I've been in law enforcement for nearly 6 years, and I have had a few supernatural things occur during my shifts. The most recent one came from a 911 hang-up call. I was riding 2-man on a summer night, and it was probably around 2 or 3 a.m. That's always the good times, let me tell you. Mm-hmm. When we get a call for a 911 hang-up, the only call comments was there was a call placed to 911, and upon answering it, the person hung up. When dispatch attempted to call the number back, no one answered. The area in which I was working this night, I've basically spent my whole career in. There aren't a whole lot of streets, and I had yet to respond to. However, the address this call came in from, they used GPS coordinates to find the closest location since the caller hung up. I'd never actually been to. I had driven past this road many, many times, but never actually received a call from it. We pull up in this old dirt road, and it has a metal chain going across the entrance with a sign that says no trespassing. Because we have to figure out what is going on, me and my partner continue on foot up this long dirt/gravel road. The road was maybe about 100 yards long. The worst part was that on each side of the road was a tall chain link fence. Why this was bad was because now I and my partner were now walking down a fatal funnel.
Yep.
If there happened to be a guy waiting for us at the end of this road,
they're done.
Let's just say an assault rifle, we would have no place to take cover.
Yep.
Thankfully, this did not happen. We eventually reach the end of the road, and there are 2 houses on each side. At first, we believe one of these houses is where the 911 call came from. As I'm shining my flashlight on one of the houses, I see a figure move from inside. Instantly, I'm like, oh my God, people actually live back here. As I thought for sure the houses were going to be vacant. Shortly after, a man and a woman walk outside and ask what is going on. We tell them we received a 911 hang-up call from this address and asked if they had called. The man tells us his address is, well, they gave him 123 Main, it's made up, but he gave his address as 124 Main. And the one across the street is 125 Main, which he says is vacant. He proceeds to tell us where There is a 123 Main, which is basically in the middle of these tall weeds / forest looking area just to the north of his house. He says the house is vacant and run down and can only be reached on foot. I ask him how far away it is from his house, and he says probably a couple of football fields away. Now, while all this walking / investigating was going on, we had received, I think, 2 more 911 hang-up calls.
Wow.
Same address, same results. Before we made this trek out into the middle of the woods, we called for another car, and eventually another 2-man unit responded. The 4 of us now wandered out into the woods, 2 of us with our rifles out, and followed a barely beaten path to where we assumed we would find a house. Fighting spiderwebs and low-hanging tree branches, we eventually reached the destination. I'm terrible at describing things, but this house was straight out of any horror movie you want to imagine. It was run down, it had a tree that had fallen through the middle, and has now become incorporated with the house throughout the years. The house was nearly falling apart and was completely overgrown by greenery. Having come this far, we decided to continue on, even though we're pretty sure the house would be vacant. After fighting through some of the thick brush, we find our entrance. We each have to climb over some fallen brick walls and other wooden things before we actually made entry. My biggest fear at this point is this stupid rotten house collapsing on itself and being trapped inside with no one being able to find us. We searched the entire house, and like we thought, no one was inside. And when I say we searched the entire house, I mean the entire house. Nothing was left unchecked. Feeling satisfied, we all climb our way back out of the bush and start heading back toward where the 2 original houses were. As we walk back, dispatch radios us and tells us they received another 911 hang-up call coming from the same address. This time, dispatch tells us they were able to make a call back, and when the person answered, they could hear what sounded like a child playing on the phone. The 4 of us looked at each other and decided we were done with this call. We had done everything we could up to that point and were not about to get called back into possibly a demon's house because a child was on the phone. We clear the call and don't receive any more 911 hang-up calls for the rest of the night. Fast forward maybe 6 months, and it's in the middle of the cold winter. 911 hang-up from the same address. This time, it's me and 3 guys who weren't there previously, and I tell them the story of what happened, and all 3 are super psyched and want to check it out.
Okay. Sweet.
Right out of the academy, right into hell. The 4 of us walk back out to this house, now much easier to get to since the cold killed off a lot of the greens. The 3 of them decide to go into the house, and I wait outside as I already had my fun. They don't make it too far once they realize this house is about to collapse on itself, and we all leave again. No call back from a child this time.
Wow.
That was by DTNS 13. And I saw some come up. Oh, thank you, Maggie. What is an occlusive stroke? What?
It's not good.
Oh.
It's a blockage in the brain.
Oh, dear God.
Of blood in the brain. So I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, our heart goes out to you. I'm sorry to hear that, but yeah, take care of yourself, please. We need you. We need you. All right. Let's go to number 3. Oh, we got 2 minutes. Let's hold off on number 3, and we'll hit it on the way back.
Okay.
With the rest of the stories for the night and other material we're going to go through. So there's tons of fun.
This is Brent Thomas with the rest of the story.
Well, at least the last 3 remaining stories. That was pretty good, though.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of detail.
You need to find those again and start doing the narration to them.
Oh, sure.
And I'll start putting,
Yeah, I'll keep this article open, and I'll start narrating them, put them in a pool. You never know.
And that way we can just throw something together if we just don't have anything else to do.
Well, if that ever happens.
Well, that's like I have your Telly Savalas story still sitting in the archive, ready to go into the end of a podcast or something. So.
What was that one?
Yeah, it was the Telly Savalas. I'll have to go back and get it for you.
I don't remember it, but I'm sure it was wonderful. But yeah, we've got lots of very interesting things we've covered through the years.
And I have that one piece that you did about Dan Aykroyd too. And
oh yeah.
So I was going to put those together. And
Very cool. Yeah, we got some emails as well.
Pieces. Oh, hey. Yeah.
So we could do another listener stories and other little bits of fun and put together an aggregate show.
You know, it'd be great. You know, is that all these people, you know, that are sending you emails, if they actually would just call and schedule a time to talk with you.
Oh yeah,
even if
some
it's
of them
just
don't
like
want
a
to though.
10 or 15 minute talk.
I mean, some people just don't want to. Yeah, they're just intimidated by it, and that's all right. Everybody's got their own pace and rate at which they want to do this. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back in just a couple minutes with the second hour of the show. So don't go away. We're not done.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking gas. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed.
From which they cannot wake. I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you? I've never sensed anything like it. Carol Ann is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for hour number 2 here. The Longbeard checks out some computer issues he's having, but we are, of course, burning through the night in the depth of the paranormal. Because that's where we live, is in the deep part of it, not the shallow, treading.
In the place that shall not be named.
There's lots of those places. But hope you're doing great, and thank you for being here, everybody that's here. Hello to you, Sugar. Good to see you. I was wondering where you were, because she's usually like first one in the door.
No doubt, yeah.
Yeah, she usually almost beats me in. Oh, and I'm the one that sets it up. It's like, oh, there she is. Hey, Justin, good to see you, brother.
Justin's going to say that. Nice to see you back.
Trace Linnell, good to see you. Thank you guys for coming in. And looking at some of the chat that's going on. Who's that? Somebody was talking about Rachel said she had a flickering light that they fixed, and it wrecked the ambiance.
Yeah, that has a tendency to happen.
Rachel's definitely one of our people. There's no question. She's a paranormally. She's one of our weirdos, as we all are. If you're here, you're kind of a weirdo, but in a good way. No,
we still love you.
Did you get that sorted?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back.
Outstanding. So let's get on to it and get back to that article that we were reading. And this is Money Waits article. MoneyWaits.com is the site that's hosting this article. It's a Reddit aggregate article, but it's been a good one. Law enforcement officers and law enforcement people or first responders having situations they're sure are paranormal. And I got to tell you, they sound pretty paranormal. But again, we can't vouch for the authenticity of these stories. They're just aggregated, but they are presented as real stories. So that's the spirit in which we present it to you. They're supposed to be real. I will tell you, I don't necessarily believe every one of them, but I think some of them are really amazing. But let's get back to it. Number 3 is the one we're on now, Don. Lucky number 3.
Lucky number 3.
Flying Yellow Friends.
Lucky number 11. Flying Yellow Friends.
I don't even know where this is going, but let's check it out. I was working as a paramedic in my station at a mental hospital in our area. Ooh, that's got to be busy. They knew they weren't allowed to call us for basic transports, but that it had to be an emergency. We get a call from there one night for a possible stroke on the 4th floor. We knew that the 4th floor is where they kept people who were guilty of murder, assault, etc., and that a police officer would be with us. When we get there, the nurse has this look on her face that we are really about to walk into something sketchy. She tells us that the lady won't stop looking to the left, her excuse for calling us and saying it was a stroke, and talking to something. When we walk into the room, she's in full conversation with something outside the window. We ask her to talk with us, and she got quiet. We load her up, and the law enforcement officer cuffs her to the gurney. And when we get outside, she looks back toward the window and then quickly shoots her head to the other side and said it's so cool how fast they fly. About 5 minutes from the hospital, she asked me if I'm worried that the ambulance is about to break down so that she and her flying yellow friends could take us out. Oof.
What?
I said, no. And she started this screeching laugh that I'll never forget.
Oh my.
The law enforcement officer was as white as snow and said nothing to her. We drop her off at the ER, come back outside, and the ambulance had cut off and wouldn't start. I went back inside to ask the Leo if he had turned it off, and they said no. They said no Leo walked inside with us. We couldn't find him, and dispatch sent a bunch of cars to look, but he wasn't at the hospital. They found him sitting in his cruiser back at the mental hospital, and he couldn't remember how he got there.
Wow.
Ooh. To this day, I really think her and the officer saw something.
Wow.
Ooh, that's creepy.
Couldn't remember how he got to the hospital?
Yeah, he didn't realize any of this stuff happened. So that's really, really, really creepy. It really sounds almost Hollywood. It's one of those things. But if it's legit, that is really creepy. That was by Dark Light Niner. I don't know what that is. But anyway, this one must be a UFO one because they got a picture of a flying saucer there with a little gray driving it. All right, it says, The Old Sweats Story. When I first joined the office during our first 2 days of training school, we had a lecture from this old sweat, British police slang for an officer who'd been in the force for a long time, who'd been in the job for about 20 years, and he told us his weirdest experience of policing. He said he'd been out on patrol in a car when they got an abandoned call to a house.
Okay.
I'm not sure what an abandoned call is, but he got there, and it was a big house, sort of isolated. They knocked on the door. No one answered. He went to open the door, and it was unlocked. And he walked in. The house was empty. No people, no furniture, no possessions, completely vacant. He looked around and found no one there, but then looked upstairs and thought he saw someone move. He went upstairs. It was a really big house with a long hall upstairs. And when he got up there, he saw someone go into the bedroom right at the end of the hall. Figures. He followed this person there, calling out as he went, and again, all other rooms were completely empty of even furniture. When he got to the room he saw the person go in, he found it completely empty. No one was in it, and nothing was there apart from a big long mirror.
Oh.
Ruh-roh. Yeah, it's always the mirror. He walked into the room and looked into the mirror. He told us he saw something in the mirror that he said has haunted him for the rest of his life. He wouldn't tell us what he saw and said he'd tell no one ever, but that it terrified him. He turned around and left the room to leave. As he walked down the hallway, he saw that all the rooms were now filled with furniture. No one was there still, but the house no longer looked abandoned. He said he left the house that day, never knowing what happened or who had called the police, but absolutely 100% sure of what he had seen. He was completely serious, and it was obvious that he really believed that was what he'd seen, and it gave me the chills down my spine when he was telling us. I've never forgotten it.
I bet.
Yeah, mirrors can be gateways, portals. There's plenty of esoteric traditions that utilize mirrors for scrying or for looking into the future, looking into the present, for creating doorways, many things that mirrors are allegedly linked to in the esoteric terms. So that was by _Claire, CLAIRE. Reclaire. Does that make sense to you? I don't know.
Reclaire.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, and the last one on this list is walking on the roof. Yeah, it's not your usual title. I got a call out to a funeral home for a business alarm and found the front door cracked open. My partner and I went inside, started checking rooms, and eventually made our way to the basement where they do the embalming.
Fun.
That'd be the last place I'd want to go. I'm not one to get rattled and don't believe in ghosts, but my partner and I started catching some really weird vibes as soon as we went down the stairs. After an expedited check downstairs, I'll bet you it was expedited. Anything down here? Nope, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone there? Nope, let's go.
Yep.
Wait, something says no?
Who said no? It was me.
Oh.
Well, nobody's here, obviously, because they said no. We went back to the main floor, and we were wrapping up checking the last few rooms, and suddenly, we both heard 2 distinct footsteps on the floor of the room above us. Game on, Mr. Burglar. We quietly made our way to the stairs leading to the second floor, and we started up them when I came across a window. The window looked over the room that we'd just been in, so the steps actually had to have been on the roof itself. The problem with that was that section of the roof had no other ways of entry or egress other than the window I was looking through, and it had been painted shut years prior. The weird vibes ramped up, so my partner and I looked at each other, agreed that we'd done enough room clearing, and noped right out of the building.
Yep.
That was by Gopher_soup. Yeah, that's creepy. There's just, sometimes it seems they just want attention, folks.
That's true, yeah. But what exactly do 2 footsteps sound like? Is that it?
I guess.
How's that footsteps?
I don't know.
It's
They must have sounded like feet,
Banging,
too.
you know?
I don't know either. Careful there.
What? What was that?
Dodge breakage stuff again. No, that was a good article, though. I think that one was lovely. I'll bookmark it or something. I'll just leave it open for now.
Gee.
That's the best way to do it.
Never to be found again.
Never, ever. Here's another article we've been burning through as well. And the last segment of the show, we're going to get into some reports from phantomsandmonsters.com, but I got to check the call board. Nobody's calling, so we're good.
All right. Nobody's calling.
Nobody's calling. I wonder. Yeah, I think this one has been good. There's one that I was working through that was like there was some paranormal stuff in there, but it was mostly like not. So I think I closed that one. Moneymade.com is the one presenting this article. It's Twisted Supernatural Experiences, and I don't know. It says 22, but I think we're on 21 here by the looks of it.
Yep, that's
All
what
right.
it looks like.
Looks like it. So let's get into this one, folks. And number 21 on this list is just titled Help. Let's see what they needed help with. The area where I lived was once an open prairie. We had found Native American artifacts lying around the area. As time went on, strange things began to happen. The more I noticed them, the more frequent they would become. Footsteps began to be a very common sound in my house, especially at night. Of course, because by God, night's the best time for footsteps. Right, Don?
Yep.
So after some time, I came to the realization that my house was haunted. It took them a little while, but they finally came to that.
They came around. It's okay.
Yeah, as long as they came to that realization, finally. One day, my good friend and I were out in the sun and decided to retreat to my mom's house while she was away. We walked inside and headed straight for the basement, which was cooler. What is it with basements? They are often the very place where everything goes wrong.
Yep.
Stay out of the basement, folk. I'm just saying. Stay out the basement. All right. So let's see, which was cooler. While walking down the stairs, I noticed that the Beatles' Yellow Submarine poster was slightly tilted to the left. I figured I must have bumped it. I fixed it and walked into the main room where we had posters hanging everywhere. All 10 to 15 pictures on the walls were either tilted slightly to the left, just as the Beatles one had been, and then we noticed the storage room had its door cracked open. Well, I walked over and saw a golden glow emanating out from it, and there was a pole light located about 10 feet from the door that was turned on. So I turned it off. I called my mom and I asked her about it. She said she had no idea what I was talking about and hadn't been in the basement for weeks before she left on her trip. I looked back into the storage room, which had a dirt floor, and there was a footprint.
Oh.
It was the most distorted and mangled footprint imaginable. Oh, God. That makes it even worse. My friend and I looked at one another, slammed the storage space door shut, locked it, and bolted out of the house as fast as we could. And that was by What You Know About That. Well, me personally, not much.
Not much.
There is a curiosity, though. What is it with basements? I don't know, but we had a gentleman on the show named Jeffrey Seelman, who's a great guy, who's an exorcist and energy worker, and he says that oftentimes these spirits, these presences, choose to be where people aren't. So, like, if they're going to occupy a space in a house, most often they like to occupy the space that doesn't have a lot of people in it. And I guess of all spaces, most basements are not where spirits would choose to be, or would choose to be, because there isn't a lot of traffic. But I don't know. I have no reason to doubt what he's saying. The guy was pretty amazing. So could be absolutely true. Number 22, we got our lines crossed.
Don't cross the streams.
Unless you're trying to close a portal, apparently. When I was walking to work, I was talking on the phone to my friend using headphones. Suddenly there was a clattering sound on the other end, like she had dropped her phone. I was expecting her to apologize for dropping the phone, but instead, I began living in a nightmare. First, there was this really deep guttural laugh. Then howls and squeals of what sounded like a car crashing. Tires squealing, then a man yelled, "Burn, burn, burn." Well, I freaked out and hung up. Called her back, and she was angry with me for not responding to her for about a minute. She could hear me, but I was hearing that awful sound.
Wow.
So she didn't actually hear it. He did. Jeez. Yeah, that's bad. So we don't know. Was that a foreboding of a car crash coming, or what the hell was going on? We don't know. But crazy story. That was by The Abyss Stares Back. Number 23, when the band began to play. My dad passed unexpectedly at about 1:30 a.m. We left the hospital, went home, slept, and got up the next morning to make funeral arrangements. His coworkers brought things from his office, including a digital picture frame, but they had forgotten the cord. My mom wanted it at the service, so we went to Best Buy to find one. I went to check out, and they asked if I wanted to use my rewards card, and I said, sure. When they scanned the card, the cashier asked if I was my dad because his name was on the account. Being a girl, I clearly didn't have the dude's name. I immediately burst into tears at the sound of my father's name. The overhead music system was playing some terrible song, and when I started crying, the song stopped.
Wow.
There was silence, and then it started playing a song by my favorite band. Not from the beginning, but in the middle of the chorus. The week before my father passed, I had just introduced him to that same band. He had loved them and wanted more, but he got sick, and we never had a chance. It was the only thing that made me stop crying so I could get out of here. It felt like he reached out and comforted me.
Oh.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I think they do. They do reach out in their own way and to make themselves known and to bring comfort to those that are mourning. That's beautiful, actually. I mean, certainly a tragic story, losing her father and stuff, but it's neat that he made himself known to her.
Look to your left.
We have a call.
We have a call.
We do. Well, let's get to our call and find out just what's going on here on the Paranormal Portal, because we love getting us some calls. So let's take advantage of the call and find out just who is area code 406. You're on the air.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, hi, Brent.
Hi, how are
So I
you?
did dial the right number.
Yeah, you did, unless you're ordering pizza. Then this is not the right number for that, but it is the show, so welcome to the show. Who are we talking to?
You're talking to Jake Fortes.
Oh,
Hey, Jake. Good to hear from you. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, I'm in Hot Springs, Montana, about 100 miles from Colma, where you filmed your Ghost Town video.
Right.
Very cool. Did you watch it?
Not yet, but I heard it was interesting, and I remember going to the Ghost Town.
Oh,
nice.
you've been there. Very cool. Yeah, we had a lot of fun up there. We went 2 years in a row, as a matter of fact, and both times we did some ITC, instrumental transcommunication, and got some really cool things. So I think there's definitely some presences up there.
That's cool. Okay, I had one story I wanted to share with you that was from my dad, and it was with him traveling down a highway in 1993, and he saw this restaurant that he thought he would stop in once he was done delivering a package, and then when he came back, it disappeared.
Ooh, I love those stories. Those are cool. We've had a few of those pop up over the years of doing the show, and I find those absolutely amazing. It makes you wonder what he would have experienced if he had stopped while he was on the way through first.
Yeah, he wanted to know what it would be like if he stopped in the restaurant.
Right.
Yeah, that's incredible. Where was this?
I also remember the guy that Papa talked to said that restaurant burnt down like 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That's even better.
That's really cool. So it's like it was your. So it's like your dad did a time slip or something, right? Like, or did he do a time slip, or did the restaurant slip through time? That's
question.
really cool.
Yeah, he was traveling with his wife with a semi going to deliver a package to this guy that lived in the forest, and they were just driving down the winding road off the highway and saw the restaurant, and they were really hungry at the time, so they were going to stop after they delivered the package.
Crazy.
And then so they delivered the package, and went down the road and tried to look for the restaurant, and they didn't see it, so they thought they passed it up. And then so they went down back to the highway and turned around and drove all the way back up, but still didn't see it. And then they talked to the guy, and he said it burnt down 3 years ago.
Wow.
Did he?
It burnt down in
Did he have
It burnt down in 1930.
19th what?
1930. I got mistaken there.
Ooh, that's a long time ago. Wow. So did your dad talk about? Did he have any weird feeling? Like, did he feel like something was different and then saw the restaurant? Was there any physical feeling while this was happening?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I never got that part.
Okay. That's
He's asking if you feel any feelings while you're looking at the rest. He said he wished he would have went in.
Yeah.
It's his only feeling.
That's for sure.
Yep.
I mean, because it's one of those weird situations where when things turn sideways like that is like when I had an experience where I skipped a big part of road during a blizzard. And to me, I didn't feel anything. It was like nothing changed except suddenly I was on a different part of the road than I should have been. So that I figured that maybe I slipped through a distance, like I missed a part of the trip that should have happened. But when I'm thinking back on it, it's like, no, nothing really felt weird. Nothing felt odd, because you'd expect that things would feel weird when those things happen.
Like a Star Trek moment where you disapparate, or even a Harry Potter moment, where you disapparate and reappear somewhere else. You know? Like flu power.
Yeah, like you're in the chimneys. Yeah, in Harry Potter. But that's really a cool story. Very intense. Wow. That's a very rare experience as well. But it's neat to hear you talk about it because, I mean, your dad's told you this. So that's really powerful. A lot of times when we cover some stories that like I find, you never know how true they are. But since you heard this from your very own father, that I believe it 100%.
There's a lot of credibility there.
Yeah, exactly. That's really cool, Jake.
Yeah, I like the story a lot. I also the reason why I heard it is one night I was it was early in the morning, and I was outside and I saw a UFO shoot across the sky. And I told him about it, and that's where I learned the story.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, you saw the UFO?
Yes, I did. I was out in the dark, and I was looking around at the sky, and then just this like, it was almost like a really flattened out donut shooting across the sky.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I couldn't really see it. Like, it was kind of moving fast, slow. Like, I had this weird feeling at first that something cool was going to happen, and then it happened, and it just went away, and I never saw it again.
That's really powerful. Good for you. It sounds like a really cool experience, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
It was the only one I had.
Go ahead.
It was the only one I had so far, but I'm going to plan on looking for more and then call in later.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Now, did you believe in UFOs before you saw it, or was that brand new to you then?
Well, I did believe there was something out there. Like, I was really anxious at young age, trying to figure out if there actually was something out there. Like, I used to see, when I was younger, I used to see these shadow things like coming at me or walking around, like when you're doing something and focused on it, and then all of a sudden, in the corner of your eye, you see something coming towards you, and you turn around and it's not there. I've had a lot of those.
Wow. That's really powerful. That's really a lot of experiences. Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
Yeah. I'm 10 years old, and I live in Hot Springs, Montana.
There you go.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Wow. You've had a lot of experience for 10 years, dude. That's awesome.
Break time, brother.
Oh, we got to go to break, but Jake, thank you so much for calling in. I'm really honored to talk to you. I appreciate you sharing those experiences.
Yeah. All right. See you later.
Thanks,
All right.
Jake.
Good night, Jake. Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
That is really
You're
cool.
welcome.
All right. See you, buddy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to take a break here. So last break of the night. Don't go away. Still more Portal yet to come. A lot more to cover. We'll be right back.
Now, fear is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying, I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. He was let go from that safe job, and our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you
It's amazing how
love.
people have been raving about IO life.
ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. We're into the last break already. It's gone so fast. That's amazing. Yep. Thanks for the call, Jake. That was cool to talk to you. I really appreciate that. And
I think he needs one of these.
You got a standing ovation there, Jake. Woo-hoo! Well done, brother. And keep us posted if you get more weirdness happening. We'd love to hear about it. Because that's what we do. That's where we live, in the weird. We're the weirdos. All right. We got another call, and this is from area code 410. I think this is Android. Is this you, Android?
That's Android.
It's me. I wanted to throw something out there in the ether about that UFO committee.
By all means.
That I haven't really heard anybody else kind of throw out there before in any community, really. A lot of people believe they're, BSing us, and I think when I watched it, I got the feeling that they legitimately did not know the events or stuff that they were being asked, when they act dumbfounded. I don't think they were acting. But I think the government does know about this stuff. That doesn't mean they don't know. What I think might have happened, it's just a theory, is, I got to read from them, they were genuinely dumbfounded by the stuff they were being asked and caught with their pants down, metaphorically. But essentially, I think that it's possible that, there's a division, in the Pentagon who purposely said, let's put a couple of guys, at the top of this program on the public side who, don't know what they're doing, don't know anything about this topic, so it looks genuine. Right. And I think that's probably what they did.
Yeah, maybe. It could be genuine. That I know things are really compartmentalized, and probably those people that did know really had no business being there. They should have had the people that did know there. Right. So that it does seem strategic. Maybe you're right that those people didn't know, but then they should have wheeled out the people that did.
They want to just keep us. They want to treat us like we're stupid. That's the problem.
Right.
And the problem is they keep putting these stupid people on these stupid committees.
It's probably true.
Right, exactly. It was really embarrassing. I don't know if you guys watched, but they were just trying to show one video and they couldn't get the one frame up that, they didn't come prepared with the freeze frame for the video that showed the object. And I was like, are you kidding me? These are the guys that are supposed to be investigating this and they can't even get a freeze frame.
It is a government. It's probably the lowest bidder is what's going on there.
It's some kid's AV class from junior high.
Yeah, well, I think they've done better probably.
Probably,
yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Kids are technical wizards.
Paid them ice cream cones and bananas, and they've been fine.
Yeah, that's probably true though. Good points. I think that those hearings are mostly just posturing.
Yeah,
it's again
pacification.
It's just pacify. Look, we're busy. We're working on this stuff. See, let's have a hearing. We're working.
I do have to throw something out there, though. I do have to say, this is getting more airplay than instead of and don't get me wrong. I want to know the answers to these questions too. But you know what? Can we work on homelessness and building affordable housing? I'd like to hear more
world
about
hunger,
that.
things like that.
Yeah, things that kind of menial things, Yeah. But I do want to hear about it, but they just keep giving us this BS.
Yeah, it's just lip service.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that while I was watching it, I was like, it seemed actually like one of the most bipartisan meetings I've seen in years, where they were on the same page asking questions. And why can't they do that for other topics, like Don said?
Well, here's the thing. Did it seem like a theater to you because they were all on the same page? Well, that'd be the first clue that they're lying.
Yeah, I think that...
Right, that's a good point. The one thing that kind of threw me for a loop and made me roll my eyes is there was a couple representatives. I think it was only one or two of them. It wasn't any of them, but a couple of them kept pressing about it if we need to know because Russia or China has this technology. We need to fight them. And I'm like, or not fight them, but, be prepared. And right. I'm like, if they really think that it's them, they're stupid or they're putting on a front. But it was only one or two of them that had mentioned that. It didn't seem like the other ones were entertaining that idea.
Right.
They were probably entertaining their watch. Just when is this over?
Oh, my God, I need a nap. Somebody got a sandwich. Here's the thing, though. For years, China has said that they live openly in China. that they live
Yeah.
openly there, you know, and, you know, we don't get the peek behind that particular curtain, do we? Not really. We get to see what the American government wants us to see. As a matter of fact, we really have no clue what's going on with the rest of the world. It's just whatever that filter is that we find out about. So, yeah.
Officially.
Yeah,
Although
and it's also logic. If Russia really had, if this was really Russia, do you think they would have thousands and thousands and thousands of dead soldiers right now?
you know.
Yeah, well, let's not go let's not go down that rabbit hole. This isn't the scope for the show, but I just got to say that I think that we do know what's going on, but we can't rely on official measures to get any kind of validation. Like the whole idea of disclosure, I think it's a pipe dream if people are waiting for the government to say, yes, it's real.
Right.
I think we got about as much as we're going to get, and it's just going to be committees and hearings from here on out, and a lot of obfuscation. But there's lots of people out there that are doing the work, and they're bringing their results to the limelight. And if you catch them, if you know where to look, you'll get some pretty amazing stuff. But don't ever expect it from a government committee.
No, hell no.
You know. I think that's...
Yeah. I agree with that for sure. But, you know, it kind of reminds me of that movie on Netflix, that new one, Don't Look Up, where the government doesn't take it seriously and they just think about themselves until, you know, it's too late, basically.
Sure.
I had a real problem with that movie, but we won't go into that.
but yeah, brother, I appreciate you calling in. Thanks for your feedback on that. I didn't watch it, so I didn't
problem.
I really don't have much to work on with that, but then again, I wasn't expecting much either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you the link if you want to watch it sometime. But it's definitely interesting. I usually don't watch a committee on C-SPAN or anything like that, but I couldn't pass this one up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, you can send me a link, and I might browse through it a little bit.
And then send it to me too. Yeah.
Send it to both of us if you would, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it to both you guys. Yeah.
All right, brother. Thanks for calling in. It's good to hear from you.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, good night.
Somebody said it's like professional wrestling.
That's funny. That's exactly what I was going to say. When you were talking about the getting together and they seem to be in agreement, it's like, you know, I think a lot of politics, and this is just me, I don't get political on the show, but I will say this, that politics is like pro wrestling. You know, on the screen, they're all fighting the good fight and stuff, but then I'm pretty sure most of them go backstage and order pizza together and stuff.
Having
you know,
beers, you know,
yeah, I think
each other's cars.
I think it's theater. I think a lot of it is just theater, and you know, it's unfortunate that people are getting so emotionally invested in politics, because I don't think that no matter where you are on that spectrum, that most of those people really care at all about any of us. It's just, you know, got to remember to be good to each other and take care of each other, because, man, nobody else is going to do it. So
Rieger says, but without the talent.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Tracy.
Yeah, thank you, Tracy. Woo-hoo! But, you know, I mean, let's go back to like last June or July, right? When they had that disclosure hearing, right?
Oh.
And we got like 5 pages of garbage from them. You know, come on, really? You know, I don't care how many meetings you have. You're just blowing smoke. And that money, honestly, if they would produce something, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Well,
but they don't produce anything. It's all a bunch of hyperbole, and they just waste our time with it,
right?
And thinking we're all sheep, but we're not. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. Spend that money on finding out, you know, how we can, you know, get clean food. You know, I mean, the United States has enough room to grow enough food to feed the world.
Jordan said it good. He said, breadcrumbs and flea circuses. Yep. Amen. I think you're right. I think that's a good way to look at it. So, all right. Before we run out of time, I want to get into some phantoms and monsters tonight, because there's some really cool cryptid reports that I wanted to get into. And again, Phantoms and Monsters is a site run and owned by Lon Strickler. And he's been on the show a couple of times and done a couple of podcasts with us. Just a fantastic guy, and does a great job over here on Phantoms and Monsters. So definitely check out phantomsandmonsters.com if you're looking for a lot of reports and information about a lot of this stuff. There's so many amazing resources online, but Phantoms and Monsters is just one of those pillars that's been a real big part of the community for a long time. So The article that we're going to get into now from phantomsandmonsters.com is coming from May 1st, my birthday. My birthday on May 1st, 2022. Tall, black, and squared entity manifests during Mississippi Bigfoot investigation.
Wow.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, right?
Squared entity, huh?
Yeah, I mean, now, interestingly enough, I've got a person close to me in my family who was dealing with some pretty aggressive haunting stuff up in Michigan.
Right.
And he was a law enforcement officer, and he was telling me this one night he was heading out to work, and it was night, and it was probably either spring or fall. I don't remember which time of year it was, but they had seen things every once in a while walking around the house or being around the house. Never any footprints or anything like that. But he said he was walking out from the house to his car that was parked out in the driveway. And on the end of his sidewalk, crossed right in front of him, was this black rectangle. Now, I thought that was so weird because, when you think of cryptids, you think of ghosts. I mean, usually, clouds, masses, but an actual symmetrical shape passed right in front of him as he was walking there. And he said it was kind of one of those things where it had a really sinister feel to it, though.
Wow.
It was really not like, it didn't give him good vibes at all. It was horrid, but it was a squared off entity as well. So I'm really curious to see what this says. And this is a Mississippi Bigfoot investigation. So Lon says, yesterday I received the following account from Bigfoot and cryptid investigator Marcus Ellis, who is also a member of Phantoms and Monsters 40 in research. The location was the Delta National WMA, I don't know what that means, in Sunflower County, Mississippi. An area is known as Long Bayou. Marcus recently started going to this particular location, but Delta National WMA has a lot of Bigfoot activity and is in the general area of Hell's Gate, which he has mentioned countless times as a hot spot for the paranormal. And he says, I'm presenting the email as is with Marcus' permission in order to gather ideas and possible similar activity experienced by the readers. He says, hey, Lon, I had something very unusual happen to me a few weeks back that I'm wondering if maybe in your years of investigations have you encountered or have had reported to you. I was in a wildlife management area that is known for Bigfoot activity early one morning, and just before I decided it was time to leave, that's when the odd event occurred. I had been in this research area of mine for over 2 hours, and nothing unusual whatsoever had occurred. I pretty much knew coming into the WMA that I was alone. My tire tracks and inspecting all of the turnoffs told me that no one was there, nor had been there, in a day or so. I was totally alone. I'd parked in a small parking area in what was called Long Bayou and had taken numerous photos and videos and had even performed a few Bigfoot calls with no results. There was no traffic at all on the road after all this time. No sounds of machinery or anything man-made whatsoever. I'd walked a few yards out into the main road half a dozen times or more, checking right then left the way I had come in. And there was never a sign of anything or anyone, just the sounds of nature filled the air up to this point. I decided to walk to the road one last time, film a little clip for my YouTube channel, and head for home. As I walked the few yards to the road, things calmed down sound-wise with the insects, birds, and other wildlife I had been hearing. It didn't stop altogether, but it diminished greatly. I reached the road, camcorder still running, and me talking into it. I looked to my right and saw and heard nothing. As I swung the camera around to my left, again in the direction I had driven in, I saw something way down the road that, looking back, shook me up a little, if not a lot. About 300 yards or less in the middle of the road was a huge, dark, black object that filled the middle of the road. It was tall, jet black, and had a square box-like shape to it. It was huge. Looking at my video I had shot, I can tell now I was a little unnerved. Honestly felt like I was looking at a big pickup truck blocking the road and that it was headed my way. Not knowing who it may be or what they were up to made me trot to my SUV, chuck my gear in the back seat, and get up to the road. This took me no more than a minute and a half, and I was looking out my driver's side window, to my left, and there was nothing there. Absolutely nothing. I was stunned, to say the least. I felt that whomever it was should either be getting closer to me or at least still be in view, yet there was nothing there. At first I was kind of relieved, but that quickly changed. The hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I was now truly shook up. Something was feeling way off. Not right. I pulled out into the road and headed back the way I came in, and there's this thing where this thing had been sitting. As I eased down the road, I stopped and checked what few turnoffs there were and found nothing. No tire tracks, no ATV tracks, nothing to tell me a vehicle of any type had been back this way. I made my way to the entrance exit of the WMA, dropped off my visitor's slip, and looked behind me. The only tire tracks coming in and going out of the WMA were mine. I never encountered not the first human being in the whole morning. As I eased out and back onto the main highway, I began to feel that perhaps I had seen something I wasn't supposed to have witnessed. It looked technological, machine-like. It didn't look humanoid or human-shaped, and I never heard any sound from it. No tires, crunching gravel, or engine noise. I remember the box-shaped objects the Sherman family reported in their fields, cruising and floating around as if they were searching for something. Was this what I saw, or perhaps something else from, well, somewhere else other than our world? Or was it merely a pickup truck after all? By this point and to this moment, it just doesn't feel like it was a truck. And I also began to feel, and again at this moment, that I was fortunate that I never got any closer to it, nor it to me. Lon, I have no idea what I saw or experienced, but I know it was real. And it just wasn't right. I have the video, but the lens was zoomed so while you can barely see the object, it's plainly there. I could see it better with my naked eye, way better than what the camera captured. My question is, have you heard or had reports of a large box-shaped objects in the rural, such as country roads, or fields that seemed machine-like, only to suddenly disappear or be gone in a super short period of time? I've found that the more I get out in the field, odd paranormal things seem to happen to me more and more. This feels like another experience that figures in with many others that have been occurring when I go to my research areas. I admit I could be totally wrong here, but I honestly don't think I am. I know what to look for and make note of, and how to deduce and investigate odd situations, and that leans me towards something high strange. That was by Marcus. He said, the note, I have not seen the video or screen captures yet. There seems to be several odd occurrences experienced by Bigfoot investigators, so this was just another to add to the list. Your thoughts? I think that's interesting. And again, I've only heard of one other. Well, no, we've heard over the years, there was one story that I remember covering, and I'm going to be paraphrasing it extensively, but what I recall of the story is it was somebody out in a urban area, in a town, but it was like 2 or 3 a.m. He's walking along the street, working his way home, and suddenly everything went dead quiet. The crickets stopped, everything stopped, and he looked over. He had detected a little motion off to the side. He looked across the street and saw what looked like a bunch of geometric shapes, like moving in a pattern, but it was very agitated, like it was really agitated or angry looking. And he couldn't make heads or tails out of what he was seeing, but it looked like a jumble of shapes together. So other than that, and basically it was just one of those things where he went nope and got out of there, and never had another experience like it. But he feels like he picked up a real negative vibe from this, much like the person that I was talking about in my family who had the law enforcement person seeing the rectangle shape go in front of him.
Right.
So it's an odd thing. I don't know what to make of it personally, but those are a couple of different experiences that seem to, include geometric shadowy shape.
Right.
For whatever that means.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
crazy.
It is crazy, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Hey, we need this.
Yay! What happened?
That's for our new little buddy, Jake.
Jake, oh, thank you, brother. We appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much. That really is great, and it's wonderful. And again, thank you so much for calling in. And Android, thanks for calling in as well. It really makes the shows extra special when you guys reach out and take part in it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see Wes is in here. Hey, Wes.
Yeah, Wes
Sasquatch Chronicles.
He's stirring the pot.
We would have it no other way. Wes is a stirrer. But that's a cool, kind of odd, weird report, but make of it what you will, I guess. If any of you have experiences like that as well, please let me know. Reach out to me or reach out to Lon himself.
Reach out to us first.
Reach.
We'll let Lon know eventually.
Well, it'll filter to him eventually after we've milked it for all it's worth. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's
we're gonna milk it and then make cheese. I don't know. Why are you guys talking about cheese?
Who's we?
The chat. Actually, they're talking about a rectangle, the rectangle, black rectangle. Oh. And somehow they got on cheese slices.
Well.
And now they're talking about cheese. Just so you know,
blue
cheese and Gorgonzola is the best, by the way, next to Swiss.
That's interesting.
I like really sharp cheeses.
Clearly, you're a sharp guy.
I keep cutting myself every time I eat that sandwich.
Oh. Wait a minute. All right, here's an. Oh, he gave himself a rim shot. Nice. I got to look at this one, see how long it is, because we are down to just 4 minutes.
Yeah, just real quick.
I think this one's not going to... I don't know. I don't know if I can read this. I think I can. I think I can fit it in. I'm going to try.
I think I can.
Here's another one from Phantoms and Monsters. Angry Bigfoot terrorizes mother and daughter camping at Lake Cumberland, Kentucky. Mother and daughter are camping at Lake Cumberland in southeast Kentucky, and they sense something stalking them until a Bigfoot lets out a loud, deep growl while tearing through the woods. The last weekend of June 2014, my daughter and I decided to go camping. It had been about 10 years since the last time. She's 28, and I'm, well, older. Anyway, we buy a tent, which is good. That works out geologically better. Anyway, we buy a tent, find all the other gear in the garage, pack up the van. We head out to Lake Cumberland, a place called Bee Rock in southeast Kentucky. It's about 25 miles from our home, very rustic campground, just a spot for a tent and a fire pit right on the lake. Very few people go there. They like the newer campgrounds with electric end showers, I should say. The electric showers might not be a good touristy thing. But
I'm Mr. Glamping.
I was raised a tomboy. My dad took me hunting, fishing, and roughing it in the wild, and I've raised my kids the same way. With us was my dog, half Great Dane, half Boxer, named Spike, the sweetest lump of a dog, except if he felt he was under threat. Wow. We arrived in the afternoon and soon set up camp. We finished 8 feet from the tent. The place was heaven. We fished, rather, not finished. Birds and crickets, frogs, and the occasional jumping fish, not a boat or other camper in sight. We caught several bigmouth bass, and I cleaned them and cooked them. Around 9 p.m., we went to bed. Now it was humid and took me about an hour to fall asleep. Around 2 a.m., I wake up, and I'm usually a heavy sleeper, like a coma time. I just sat up and realized the lantern was burned out, and the fire was just red embers. There's only quiet, not a breeze turning the leaves, not a frog in protest, nothing. Spike is sitting right in front of the screen, rigid, strange. My daughter hears me getting up and turns over. I grab my flashlight and 9mm just in case somebody's lurking around. The three of us emerged from the tent. I had Spike on a leash. This dog was all muscle and 140 pounds and could have pulled me behind him if he felt the need to get to something. I turned the beam from my light all around the camp. The forest was thick with huge old-growth trees. I was disturbed by the silence. I had that creepy sense that something was watching us, and despite the heat, I had chill bumps. Not seeing anything, I stirred up the fire and placed some wood on it. We sat in our camp chairs, watching the flames when Spike began to tremble. He entered a stance, and his back leg kicked out, and my flashlight went tumbling into the water. Ooh. I held tight to the leash. My daughter cowered behind my back, and we squinted into the darkness trying to see what the dog was pointing at. I automatically pulled my Ruger while pulling Spike back. At least a minute passed, no sound. The fire was still going, good, but didn't see anything. The van was parked about a quarter mile away, not an option to go running through the woods with whatever was stalking us, and I'm not the bravest gal in the world. Something told me if I made a break for it, we would be dead. I made the decision to go back into the tent. The fire gave us enough light that we would see whatever might approach. We backed up into the tent, pulling Spike. Once inside, the dog remained at the screen, anxiously staring out. He never once growled, just trembling. Minutes passed, we sit back to back, waiting, watching. I don't know how much time passed. Spike had sat down, still keeping a vigilant watch. My daughter and I were nodding off.
Good night.
That's as far as I got. Sorry, folks, we had to chop it off, but we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. I'll reread this tomorrow night, so sorry about that, folks. Good night. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. right here. See you then.
My lovelies.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus.